let's get down to business.
That's what
because
we're all about.
The Texas high school football playoffs are here. TexasFootball.com/playoffs have everything you need for the 2025 Texas high school football playoffs. You've got brackets, you've got predictions, you've got sleepers, you've got game times and locations. Everything you need, recruits to watch, everything you need. TexasFootball.com/playoffs. Bookmark it. This is a singular weekend in sports. 352 win or go home games. It's the largest single elimination tournament in the world. We will go from 704 teams to 12 over 6 crazy weeks. And as a result, we have got 352 this weekend. A ton of them on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. A bunch, like 30?
More than that?
More than that on Dave Campbell's Texan Live. You can stream dozens and dozens of Texas high school football playoff games this weekend, starting tonight.
Yes.
But I narrowed it down to 10. The top 10 Texas high school football games of the week in the bi-district round, starting with number 10, Lexington and Wallis Brazos. 3A Division II action. I love this matchup because I think as far as 3A Division II is concerned, you may not get better star power than what you're going to get in this one at Leopard Stadium in LaGrange. On the Brazos side, you've got Jarvis Dickinson, superstar athlete, does everything for them. He is a dynamo back there. A ton of fun to watch. Taking on Case Evans, the superstar. I think at one point Oklahoma State committed. Is he still committed to Oklahoma State? Who could possibly know that?
Yes, I think.
I know they've had a coaching change. Let's find out. According to our friends at 247 Sports, he is now committed to Iowa State. Committed about a month ago. As a Big 12 quarterback at 3A. You've got two fantastic quarterbacks, athletes going at it, electrifying offenses. I would like to see what happens on the defensive side. This is a fascinating ball game that will help to shape what Region 4 looks like in 3A Division 2. Lexington and Wallis Brazos is my number 10 game of the week. Number 9, Corpus Christi, Calallen, and El Campo. So this game is going down at Wildcat Stadium in Calallen. And I could tell you all about, there's a couple of things that I love about this. First of all, it's just great pedigree, right? El Campo taking on Calallen, two very proud programs down there in the Brazos, or on the Coastal Bend. A ton of talent between those two teams. And they are meeting here in the first round of the playoffs in what can only be described as a real heavyweight fight. Two programs with proud history. But what if I were to tell you, Ashley Pickle, that it gets even better than that? You see, the head coach at Corpus Christi Calallen, you may remember, the gentleman who took over for Phil Danaher, is Charlie Reeve. The head coach of the El Campo is Travis Reeve.
Some of those names sound the same.
You know why? Because they're brothers.
How about that?
It's Travis Reeve taking on his brother in a first-round playoff matchup. This is about as good as it gets. The storyline, is a fascinating game because you've got these two programs that know a ton about winning football games and a ton of pedigree and a ton of history. And also you add in the fact that you've got two brothers coaching against one another. Fascinating ball game going down there in Wildcat Stadium tomorrow night. Number 8, Huntsville and Marshall. Two teams, I think these are two teams that's going down in Marshall at Maverick Stadium. And two teams that I think kind of passed each other at some point. This was a Huntsville team we had really high hopes for to start the year. And I think that they've kind of, I don't want to say that they've floundered, but certainly they have not necessarily played to the paper that we thought that they could. We thought that they were a real Region 2 contender. 6-4, though, a disappointing year. But when you take a look at inside of it, their losses, they've got a loss to Brenham, they've got an overtime loss to Cedar Park, they've got a loss to P&G, and they've got a loss to Montgomery. Defense has been a bit of an issue, but the offense can get going. I think Huntsville still got some juice. Taking on a Marshall team that I would say, it is fair to say, has surprised us. And it started in week 1 when they beat Tyler. They played a real tight game with Longview in week 2. And since then, they've been pretty good. One of their losses on the year is they beat Texas High, or they lost Texas High 14-0. This defense is serious gravy. Serious gravy. And I want to see what happens when that Marshall defense at home with a big crowd wind in their sails go up against what has been a pretty consistently strong Huntsville offense. Fascinating ball game there in 5A Division II. Number 7, Robert Lee and Ira. This is, for me, the six-man game of the week. And six-man ball knowers will look at this game and more than likely agree with me. I'm not saying that I know everything, but I'm saying that this is the game of the week by district. Robert Lee is a 2 seed out of their district at 9-1 because they lost to Water Valley, who may in fact be the second best team in 1A Division I. They've got a loss to Water Valley, and that knocked them down so that they have to take on a district champion in Ira. Ira's 2 losses on the year, by the way, to Jayton. And how about this? In week 3, Robert Lee beat Ira 60-14. So this is a rematch of a game we saw in week 3. Now, I want to see how much has changed since then. This is a pretty rare first round rematch. Generally speaking, coaches don't like to play teams they might see in the playoffs. But it works out this way. On a neutral site, can Ira close that gap against Robert Lee? Fascinating ball game there, Ira and Robert Lee. Number 6, Hamshire-Fannett and Marque. This going down in Pasadena, Veterans Memorial Stadium. And another instance of results matter. Hamshire-Fannett is here because they dropped a heartbreaker in week 11 to West Orange Stark. And as a result, they now have to go take on, I think, a really feisty Marque team. Marque, I think, is flown under the radar. 8-2 on the year. I love their sophomore quarterback, Deuce Walker. Hamshire-Fannett's got a sophomore quarterback as well, Blake Broussard. The money matchup here for me is what has been a pretty strong Marque defense led by Brendan Harris the second. I think he's got 12 sacks on the year. Going up against Blake Broussard and this Hamshire-Fannett offense, which has been up and down. Can Hamshire-Fannett have a big game on the big stage? There's a fascinating ball game going down 7 o'clock Friday night in Pasadena. Number 5, Anna and Mansfield Timberview. This game going down in Mansfield tomorrow night. Zyandre Williams, if you would like to feel old, Zyandre Williams is starting his 10th playoff game tomorrow night. 10th playoff game. Remember, he led Anna to a state championship back in 2023. Still around. Still making deep runs. Still dynamic. 36 total touchdowns. I do think their defense is taking a step forward. Here's Mansfield Timberview. And the name of the game here is that styles make fights, right? These are 2 stylistically different ball clubs. And I think that Timberview, with a strong secondary, a physical front, and a couple of playmakers as far as elite athletes, guys like Jacoby Easter and Braylon Barnett, I think they're a matchup problem for Anna. I think they match up really well with Anna, which makes this a really fun matchup. Because I think if you were to just look at them on paper, I think you would say Anna's the better team. Let me see if I can make everyone mad in this segment. I think Anna's the better team. But I also think that Timberview, stylistically, and what they are good at, could provide some real problems for Anna. Fascinating ball game tomorrow night in Mansfield. Anna, Mansfield, Timberview. Number 4, Dickinson and Atascocita. And the time has come to just figure out exactly what the heck is going to be the legacy of this Atascocita ball club. Because you may remember in the early going, after 2 weeks, we were ready to crown Atascocita. We were ready to make this team the team to beat in 6A. Then they lose 3 straight. A 1-score game to Westlake, a 70-55 loss to CE King, a heartbreaker to Summer Creek. They rounded it all out with another loss to Galena Park North Shore, and now here they find themselves on the road against an undefeated and undisputed Dickinson team. Dickinson, I think, is maybe what we thought Atascocita might be. Because take a look at their resume. They have non-district wins over Cy-Fair, that's a playoff team. CE King, that's a win that's aged really nicely. And on the road at Katy. They are 10-0. I think this might be John Snelson's best ball club he's had there, and that's saying something. But we know the upside for Atascocita. We've seen it. This is a fascinating ball game, and I hate to say this, but it's true. One of these teams is going to leave this game thinking, what if? What this season could have been. And that's, I think, what makes this so fascinating. It's Atascocita and Dickinson. A game going down in Dickinson at Vitanza Stadium. Number 3, Waller and Tomball. We're going to talk with the head coach of the Waller Bulldogs, Coach Marcus Mendoza, coming up here momentarily. I love this game. I'm going to talk more about it in the picks video here in a minute. I will just say this. I think the money matchup is going to be the Waller offense, led by TK Gaines and Robert Carter, taking on this Tomball defense, which has been pretty strong, led by Braden Schneider. That, I think, is the money matchup. We'll talk with Marcus Mendoza, head coach of the Waller Bulldogs, coming up here momentarily. Number 2, Pflugerville, Weiss, and LaPorte. Oh, boy, where do you start with this one? 5A Division I, and a fascinating ball game. Because it's 2 teams that at times have looked like world beaters. And at times, we've had some questions about. For Pflugerville Weiss, it started off all sunshine and daffodils. They lose, but then they get into district play. They lose a heartbreaker to A&M Consolidated. Then they lose to College Station and drop to 3rd place, which sends them on the road to LaPorte to take on a LaPorte team that's 9-1 in the year. How healthy is Sean Simon, their running back? What does Jackson Shad have, the quarterback for Pflugerville Weiss? I think this game could be pointsy. I think this game could come down to the wire. I think this is a fascinating ball game that will go a long way towards shaping what Region 3 of 5A Division I looks like. I will be locked in to LaPorte and Pflugerville Weiss. But it's not the number 1 game of the week. No. The number 1 game of the week is Austin Westlake and Austin Vandegrift in the first round.
Yeah, that almost feels like that should be illegal, to be honest with you.
In the first stinking round. Westlake is here because they dropped their season finale to Dripping Springs. And they got put on the dirty side of the bracket. And now they got to go and take on the defending 6A Division II state champs in Vandegrift. Now, I think both these teams, by the way, played at AT&T Stadium last season. Vandegrift won the 6A Division II title. Westlake lost the 6A Division I title. Matching up in the first round. And both of them have had their flashes where they've looked really good. Remember, Westlake was the first team to beat Atascocita. And that was us saying, oh boy, Westlake might have something. But they also lost to, was it Prosper? They lost to Prosper on a neutral site.
Yep.
They lost to Lake Travis. Mm-hmm. And they lost to Drip. To me, the offense is going to have to come to play in this one. Quarterback Reese Wise is going to have to come up with probably his best game. Going up because this defense, I think, for Westlake is going to do their part. Well, for Vandegrift, I think they've been trying to reload defensively. Quarterback Miles Tedecki is their star. He's the guy that he's the straw that stirs the drink. Can they find a way to get some stops defensively, because that's the one question about them, is that for Vandegrift, strangely, which has never been an issue for them, their defense has been mostly good, but when they played Dripping Springs, gave it 41. When they played Hutto, they gave it 34. So for me, this is a really interesting matchup of two teams that kind of fit together well. And I think that the pieces fit together in a way that is going to make this a really compelling ball game. It's Vandegrift and Westlake. It's my number one game of the week in the bi-district playoffs. So there it is. The top 10 Texas high school ball games of the week. Of course, we'll have complete coverage of all of them at texasfootball.com/playoffs.